Hello, and welcome back to the haunting of Mallory and Mergaut. We have a fantastic end to the story prepared for you. At least we're hoping that it goes well, but that remains to be seen. Um, I'm Zach. I'll be your storyteller for this final episode. But let's go ahead and introduce our players as well. Aries, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Cool. Hi, everybody. I'm Adrian or Aries, and yeah, I am a demon storyteller here on the Beer Pin and a player on a few other channels like Kira858. And this evening, I am playing Sebastian Thoreau, who got his wrist broken and got a massive nosebleed, and now his correspondence magic isn't going to work properly for a while, and everything's fine. Everything's fine.
All good, completely good. All fine. Reed, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am Ree. I will be playing the lovely Idris, who is entirely going to do whatever he feels like today, and everything will be absolutely fine. And I do hope you enjoy our final episode, and will catch us doing other things on other channels throughout the YouTubes.
Mhm. Excellent. And now our resident garden witch who has watched as everything steadily declined since they left the garden, probably related. Megan, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Exactly. You understand. Hi, I'm Megan. I'm playing Beatrix. She's kind of a cottage core kitchen witch for Bina. And yeah, she's a little disappointed in how things are going right now. She might just stay in the van, but we'll figure that out. And if I'm on Twitter at Quinot, and that'll be anytime I'm playing a game or anything, because I can't remember right now.
Living by the Twitter. Twitter tells you what to do, and then you go do it. Easy. Awesome. And Eliza, our doctor that is an investigator who's currently probably peeved about being investigated. Go ahead and introduce
Yes.
yourself.
Yes, I'm Elisa Pearl. I'm playing Dr. Doro Anyanwu, who is a psychic surgeon who did most of medical school, most, and now is also moonlighting as a detective with this fine crew of mages.
Mm-hmm. And um, also a thank you to our tech behind the scenes. I got in trouble last time because I forgot this part. But before we get into the story, we're going to roll the intro and content warning screen.
Let's pretend what happened didn't happen. I was all to blame, I realize. I've been waiting for a chance to tell you, sweetheart, I apologize. It's all my fault, yes, all my fault. I didn't mean to make you cry. You really ought to know how I love you. It's all my fault, and I'm afraid that if you ever say goodbye, you'll surely break my heart. That's why I'm blue. You know I wouldn't want to hurt you. The longest day I live, I wouldn't want to grieve you. So please forget, please forgive.
And we are back. The last we left off our story, our investigators just had a unfortunate phone call with one Harold, whom they have been chasing for quite some time now, and he has demanded that they meet up with him at a place called the Breckwood Lounge. Currently, there are some spirits that are trying to find the source of the call and trace the signal back to wherever he might be, but that takes some time. So, what will you all be doing in the meanwhile?
The man is
Mm.
deeply unpleasant.
Mm.
Deeply, deeply unpleasant.
Sure.
Mm.
So, what should we do next?
What time is it?
Let's see. You all actually started your morning pretty early, went to the couple of different places at this point, had to deal with a little bit of detective work from the police. So I'm going to say probably around 1 p.m. or so.
Hmm. Do you think we need that other necklace?
Um, Well, if we're waiting to hear back exactly where he is, then it might be worth it to use that time. I mean, I think the more uh shiny, powerful stuff we bring, the better.
Well, the guy
Mhm.
did say Breckwood Lounge, right? So I imagine he's there right now. Um, but all I have is this event location of oh gosh, I keep forgetting her name.
Regina.
Regina. We could try there.
Yeah, they might know. If she's not there, they might know. Where how we can contact her.
If I
That seems
recall
right.
correctly, the event location was from last night, wasn't it?
Think so.
Not sure.
I believe
Yes.
it was
That sounds
from
right.
last night. So I think the whereabouts are unknown at the moment. Although you did know where she had been by way of
So
this
yeah,
event.
the thing that someone there might know how to contact her. It's worth the.
It's
I think
worth a
it's the lead
shot.
we have.
It's worth a shot.
Yes.
Okay.
So far, we
Sounds
have
like
two powerful pieces of jewelry, and having a third would be good. If
Yes.
it does have power to it.
Speaking of which, would you mind if I take a little bit of juice from that there ring?
Sure.
So I will use Prime and just take. I can only get up to 3. You can get as much quintessence as your Arate, right?
Mhm.
Unless you have something extra to keep
Do
it
you have
for you.
do you have Prime?
Yeah, I've got Prime 3.
Prime 1 allows you to maintain a hold on more quintessence than your avatar rating, is what dictates it,
Hmm.
actually, not Arete.
Okay, well, I think my avatar is a 3 as well. So I'll just take 1 out of that ring, and that'll bump me up to my 3 there.
You know,
Okay.
Let's
Sebastian, you're very, very tired after that long night and all of that spell work and the rituals, but that feels pretty good. Like the feeling of being in a park alone with nothing to do but draw. It has been a long time.
That's nice. Get used to that.
Does he have that look he has when he's chewing on nicotine gum?
More peaceful, actually.
Ah, okay, Beatrix isn't totally worried yet, but she's slightly concerned about like, oh no.
He's
That's
developing a
the
new
spirit.
addiction.
That is absolutely the spirit. You're relaxed. Oh, you should always be relaxed. So it sounds like we have a plan, and it kind of feels like we're playing characters in some sort of novel. So we should definitely keep going. This is super fun.
Fun, yeah. That's a. You want to take the van?
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Sure.
Um, while we're driving, I think I'll sit somewhere in the back this time. I'm just gonna try and prepare a few things that we might need.
Huh?
So I have the knife currently.
I think so.
I believe so. You were last inspecting it and assessing the feeling of faith coming from it.
Okay, cool.
So I would say yeah.
So while we're in the back, I'm going to be drawing something there, just in preparation for creation. So I have quick creation of it. I'm just drawing like a little stick figure person, and then I am drawing a cage made out of iron. And my intention is to set that, and then when I want it, I can just push quintessence into it and manifest it. So it's quickly done.
Very well.
I'll roll my matter there. Yeah. One, two, three. What would be the rating on that though?
The difficulty
Yeah.
on that spell would be 6.
Okay. So 3 successes. So it's prepped. What else might I want to prepare? Would matter function as a raw spell shield?
That feels like more of a prime thing, but it depends on what you're using
Sorry,
it
I
for.
mean prime.
Kind of. You could, in theory, prime can be used to deal aggravated damage. So theoretically, you should be able to use points of quintessence in order to build a shield that would block aggravated damage.
So I'm going to prepare another drawing just of myself in armor, and again get it ready and primed for me to dump quintessence into it to activate that sort of like prime armor, I guess. I'll roll that again. That's what I'm doing on the drive to this event location. What would be the DC on that?
That is another difficulty 6.
Okay, so 1 success there.
Yeah.
Cool. That's on my prep.
I would like to cast a Life 3 effect to be able to soak aggravated and lethal damage.
Okay.
What difficulty?
That's another difficulty 6 effect unless you're reducing it somehow.
Excuse me. 2 successes.
Okay.
Right. I think that is good for me.
I have a question before we go into potential battle. I want to make sure I can use the thing I'd like to use. I have Hands of Death, but I don't have martial arts. And I was hoping I could use Hands of Death because if I can like fix life and illnesses with my psychic surgery, I can also take life away.
I see where you're going. You can use it in a medicine way.
Yeah.
I get you.
Okay, great.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
That's the only thing I'm coming into this fight with.
Nice.
Final question. Beatrix is driving. Can she also prepare things, or could she prepare something before she was driving?
Well, where are you driving to at this moment? Are you
I
driving to the venue or to Breckwood Lounge?
I thought it was the venue because we were gonna investigate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Stuff.
theoretically, you could wait in the car and do your prep work while they're in talking to people at the venue.
Huh.
But there will be, especially with one dot and drive, no spell work whilst driving.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
maintaining this van in between the lines is about all that Beatrix
You
can handle.
Yeah, it's
while
a
driving.
lot. Then one other question: how long would say like a protection spell last? Should she
It
wait
depends
anyway?
how well you Depends how well you cast it.
Okay. All right. I can wait till we get there then, or whatever makes more sense. Yeah. So she'll think about it, and she's driving, and she's like, no, focus, focus. I hear everyone back there, and they're preparing stuff, and it sounds real cool, but I gotta get us there first. So she talks herself down from it, but is thinking about possible things she can do.
Absolutely. Is there any other conversation that you all would like to have on the way to the venue?
I think while Sebastian is sketching and stuff like that and getting his things ready, he'll ask God. So we do have this knife. I am not a stabby kind of person, but it's chock full of faith. So I don't know if there is a way we can, as he's sketching out, if we can sort of channel that faith into something else, or who out of you all here is pretty precise with, I mean, Dr. Doro, you're, how precise are you with like instruments, like stabby instruments or different doctor
Well,
kind, right?
Yes, well, I do surgery, but usually not with those types of tools. So I have precision, but it's a different type of precision.
Idris?
I can guarantee I'll hit something with it.
I mean, that's a start. Or I have an idea. Do you think you could like try and speak to some spirit that could hold it for us? That's like, I don't know, a spirit of like a freaking, I don't know, stabby person. I can't think of things right now. It's, what do you call them? Like they like to kill
Clarify.
people.
I believe those are
Assassin.
murderous.
A murderer, a spirit of a murderer. Could you like speak to one or no?
What's happening back there? I mean, I gotta be honest. I don't know. I wasn't following all of it, but I just feel like maybe contacting a murderer would complicate. Okay, complicate things. Oh, it's a stop sign. Wait a second. All right. Anyway, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just. All right.
No, it's probably a bad pauldrons. Do you think pauldrons? Pauldrons are a good idea. Pauldrons. I'll put it with some pauldrons.
Well, personally, I don't mind talking to a murderers, but probably, I trust in the word of other people, including the spirits, but I would not probably, it may not be a good idea to give them a special knife.
I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But meanwhile, if you can guarantee you can hit something here, and he'll pass you just the knife just to hold on to. It seems like a good idea giving the spirit mage the knife filled with faith.
I just like getting things.
Yeah.
Idris, how would you describe yourself? Or rather, I'm asking this to Ree. How would you describe Idris as a character in the moral sense?
He does. He has a very clear definition of right and wrong, but within that, he kind of does whatever he wants. He would be classical chaotic good, to put it into the alignment chart spectrum.
Mm-hmm. And what does good mean to him? Like an ideal state of the world, what would that like look like?
Helping people, basically giving everyone what they need when they need it. Sort of, kind of communism, but yeah, kind of everybody gets what they need, and do help with the spirits and unity with the world and all that stuff.
Okay. You feel the handle of the knife as you take it warms a bit, like it's reacting to your touch. And for a moment, you're worried that it's going to get too hot. But the warmth slowly fades, and you have the knife in your grasp.
Oh, well, that's nice. I think it likes me.
That's good. I don't think I need the filigree in the breastplate. I what?
I can't help but notice that I was not offered a knife. I mean, I'm sure it's fine. I'm not taking it personally or anything.
Do you want a knife?
But no, it was more the offer. I can be trusted with a knife, probably.
I can
Okay, I can't
make you a
guarantee.
knife.
No, that's it. The moment's passed. The moment's passed. It's fine. I know where I am on the knife list.
I mean, I was thinking if there were like garden shears, you'd be number one to go to.
Oh,
But
oh, I see. I know. I see how it is. I see. I mean, it just garden shears. That's just two knives, but
yeah, that's
I
two
think you're more of
knives.
a poison person.
Okay, I'm gonna keep driving. I don't. I think we need like some sort of HR meeting or something because I feel like we just beep beep at nobody.
Someone else beeps back
Yeah.
at you. You have no idea who they are. You've
Damn.
passed by them now.
Then they probably deserved it. You only respond to the beeps you deserve.
And we'll drive there, I guess.
Yeah. It's a bit of angry driving, but
You are at the venue after having bumped Sebastian into a couple more potholes.
I'll show you precision.
You're there. The venue itself has it's clearly a modern building. There's lots of kind of like tempered glass that you can see in the exteriors. The siding is still like fairly new. It's probably built in the last 5 to 10 years, probably, and it's been well maintained. The entrance has kind of like an arch over it that leads inside, and it's not actually like labeled or anything like that. There's no like blah 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 event space. It's just like a place that you can go into.
Are we going?
Are there any? Can we see any people inside? Since there's a lot of glass, we'll be able to see. Inside?
It's a little bit like it's kind of like frosty, but go ahead and give me a perception check. You can see through it,
Okay.
but let's see what you notice.
Okay. Just perception.
Yeah. Well, perception and what is that other
Alertness.
ability? Yeah.
I don't have that. Difficulty?
Let's do 4.
3 successes.
Okay. It looks like there's definitely people moving around in there. They seem to be there seems to be like some large objects still on the inside. They look like tables or like some kind of platforms or something like that they're moving around. You'd estimate there's probably like half a dozen people in there right now.
Okay. Looks like we will have lots of people to talk to. Maybe we should play it cool, Just tell them we are looking for an event space. Oh, we heard there was a great event last night. Who was the person who was, that kind of thing?
Sure.
We might be in and out quicker if we do that.
That seems like a good plan. Do you want to take lead in this?
Sure.
All right.
I will stroll in.
Following.
You stroll inside. There are about a half dozen people. Specifically, as you go inside, you can see 7 of them. Actually, it looks like at the moment it's not really a table so much as there's like there's a large platform that they seem to be dismantling. It looks like it was previously some kind of a stage. There's a bunch of chairs that are still kind of in like a semi-circle around the different aspects of it. The rest of whatever might have been has been torn down at this point, but a bunch of chairs encircling this large stage platform that's currently being dismantled.
Okay. Is there someone who
Looks to be
looks
about-
more? Okay.
We have about 3 women and 4 men.
Okay.
And there is someone who is wearing a gold vest.
Aha. Yes. Yeah, I'll walk over to the gold vest person.
One of the women,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, and say, hello, ma'am. It looks like you had a wonderful event here, and I wanted to know about this space and the event last night.
Oh, sure. I mean, this place is mostly general purpose. It's tends to be used by fancy people and fancy parties. I think actually there was a fashion show here last night. I believe it was some kind of mark something or other. Actually, you look
Oh,
familiar. Do I know you?
oh, maybe you follow me on Instagram or something like that. I'm Dr. Doro Anyawu, the
Oh,
center
yeah,
of
yeah,
the center.
yeah. Yes,
Mm.
yes, yeah. I think. Do you sell products? I think I might have gotten some of them before.
Yes, actually, my meditation beads are very popular, and I show on my wrist. I have like meditation bead bracelets. They help to center your energy and heal you from the inside.
She reaches under the shirt a little bit and pulls out a set of beads as a necklace. That's what it is. Very, very great. Always,
Oh,
always helps me focus.
oh,
Love,
wonderful.
yeah,
Would you
love
like a
it.
picture with
Absolutely
me?
love it.
Would you like to take a
She,
selfie?
yeah, and she pulls out her phone like super fast and pulls it up. Takes one picture. Doesn't like a little bit nervous. Doesn't want to like make it too big of like a thing, but definitely taking you up on the offer.
Oh, look at that. It's so nice to meet my followers out in the world. Hmm.
Yeah, no, it's super cool here too. But yeah, no, it was just like some kind of a fashion show thing. So like what kind of event are you looking to do? Like I'm sure we could like I could probably, call the people who source all the different
Oh, yes. Mhm. Yes, we're looking to do a fundraiser. I turn to the rest of the group. What is the name of our friend who we know someone who actually was at the event last night and she told us to come here and ask questions. What was her name again?
Regina?
Regina. Yes. Do you
Fursad.
remember Regina Fursad?
Regina. Regina. Let's see if she remembers. She does. Oh yeah, um I think she was working with a couple of the models on like some of the coordination or something, like making sure they get here and when they get here they stay here kind of stuff. Yeah, no, so
Mm.
I remember her. I think someone maybe has her card around here somewhere. Did you
You
but
know
yeah, I
what?
mean if you know her then.
No, I actually lost my phone. My phone, I lost it on the plane here. And so if you could give me her card, that would be great because I've been trying to get in touch with my good friend Regina.
And she is a fan of yours, so she's already inclined to believe you. So she will just go and search around. It takes about 10 minutes. I mean, things are a little bit of a disaster area, like mid transition at the moment, but she is able to find a card. And after about 10 minutes, she brings it over to you.
Oh, you angel. Thank you so much.
No, I
Wonderful.
mean, of course. I mean, you already lost your phone. That's terrible. I mean, you've probably been through
Thank you.
enough after that.
Thank you so much. And you know what? Here, use this code. And I pull out a card from my pocket. Use this code on the website. It gives you another 10% off your next purchase.
Oh, that is so kind of you. I appreciate it.
Yes. And if you ever want a consult, call my office and tell them you met me, and you will get a free consultation.
Oh, absolutely. That sounds great. And if you decide, after speaking with Regina, that this is a place you'd like to hold your share, call me directly. I'm sure we can work something out. And she gives you a
Yes.
card.
Thank you so much. Angela?
Mm,
It's so nice to meet you, Angela.
you as well,
And tag me in that photo.
of course.
Okay, I go back to the group and I show them the
Mm.
card.
You can see
People,
a couple other people have come over and they're now like gossiping about what just happened.
that was so well done. People don't react like that at my book signings. Maybe I should get on Instagram or something.
Yes, maybe we should write a book together.
Yeah, like a
That would be
medical
perfect.
mystery.
Yes, exactly.
I like it.
Mhm. Let's talk. Let's talk more.
So she is in a fashion company.
Yes. What does the card say?
Regina's card.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
She is a manager, so it says talent management.
Ah, okay. Is there an address on there?
There's not an address. There is a mobile number as well as an office number and an email address.
Okay. Shall we call? How should we go about this? If we call the office, we can get the address and just go there. Does that seem like a good plan?
Yes, because then we can maybe surprise her, I guess.
Yes.
You want me to do this one? Or Adris? Or Beatrix? You want to do this one?
Who would like
I
to
really
call?
like
Beatrix, we will check in with now because I believe she was doing prep work in
Mm.
the car.
Yeah, he said, you go on ahead. I gotta do a thing. So I think when they're gone, she will she pulls out, she has a wooden spoon. And she uses
Okay.
that to kind of focus her attention. And what she wants to do is, let me make sure I've got this right. Yeah. So she's trying to use forces 2 to kind of with life to kind of weave a protection spell about herself.
Okay. Go ahead
I-
and good.
Oh no, go ahead. Yeah. I gotta
Roll
roll.
your arte at a difficulty of what is your you have 3 in life, right?
Yes, I have 3 in life and 3 in forces.
Yeah, do that at difficulty 6.
Okay.
And don't forget willpower and quintessence. You do have a refueling ring, so
Okay, cool. So it costs 1 arete.
to reduce it costs
right.
1 quintessence to reduce the difficulty
Yes.
by 1. You can spend up to 3, which would make it difficulty 3, and then willpower will give you free successes.
Yeah. No, I think she's good because I got 2 successes.
Okay.
So yeah, she's just in the van, kind of like tapping herself with the wooden spoon, and she's probably still doing it when you come out. It's kind of all her sensitive, delicate spots, all the weak spots, chakras.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. Awareness is key. You're finding all of them and then fixing them. Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
It's very it's small and fine tuning. It takes some time, but it's worth it.
Mhm.
She forgot the elbow once, and that was not cool. So she does that twice.
Sebastian's placing a phone call.
Sure, but first he has a look at Beatrix. He's like, it actually looks kind of comfortable.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you can just do this like without like using anything more, and it's very relaxing.
I think I just need a massage. You know, that hit from the ring. I was like, when was the last time I took a day off?
Oh, that
Anyway.
stuff really whammied you.
Let me make a phone call. No, that's Skype, but you know, we'll make the phone call.
Okay, let me check one note here.
We're phoning the office
Apologies.
number.
You call and the line connects immediately. RF Talent Management.
Good afternoon. This is Sebastian Thoreau. I am actually wanting to come into the office and just discuss a few things with regarding
Do we
booking
represent
a
you?
manager. Not yet. This is why we are coming into the office today to make a
Do you have a
booking.
meeting?
That's why I'm calling to come to the office to make a meeting. I have five dots in fame, by the way, as a crime novelist. So I am a talent. So they might recognize my name.
We don't normally represent authors, but if you want to come in, maybe Miss Regina knows somebody and she can connect you to the right place.
I'm looking to branch out a little bit as well. I don't know if you've seen the back covers of my jacket, but well, I'm looking to get into a few other areas too. So
I work 65 hours a week. I'm afraid I don't read many crime novels, but I'll check out the jacket photos.
it's a pretty light schedule. Sorry, could we? Yes. So what's the address again?
Yeah, and then she gives you an address in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. We're looking in the New Orleans area code at the moment. We understood Miss Firstad was here.
Well, yeah, she's traveling. I'm not sure how you know that, but our office is in LA.
Right. Okay. Well, that's great. So I will take that down and we will be in contact with you. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Mm.
And she hangs up, having had the weirdest phone call of the day so far, but
Can you
probably
believe
one
it?
of probably one of the more pleasant ones too, actually.
Only 65 hours a week. I mean, what does she do with the rest of her time? I don't.
I'm
Anyway,
concerned about you, Sebastian. I'm saying this again.
Yes. She
Yeah.
I
sleeps.
should spend more time.
Yeah.
I should spend more time here. I didn't know you were so famous. And I didn't know that Dora was so popular on Instagram. I should
At this
spend a lot
point-
more time here.
At this point, Idris, you feel a tap on your shoulder.
Oh,
As you turn around, there's a man. He looks to be about 6'6". He's very broad-shouldered and muscular. He's wearing no shirt, just a set of furs that come across as a vest, and what looks to be some kind of burlap pants or something. His features are kind of like Nordic or Swedish, kind of in that region, and he looks to be not from this time period. And he speaks and he says, "We have located the man you were seeking to track."
wonderful. Where is he?
And he says, "I do not understand the strange way in which you mark your roads in this era."
Mm. Oh, that is bad. Hey, do you guys mind if I go and see where this person where Harold is? If I find it.
should
Okay.
we go
see the
together?
spirit?
You're asking if you can see the spirit?
Yeah.
No, not unless you activated some kind of a spirit spell
Oh,
or
yeah.
something.
I just us figuring out what we're seeing is Idris is like, I'm just gonna go follow this guy.
You're seeing nothing. He's talking to air and speaking a language that sounds very, very foreign.
He's doing that thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just to see the place, and then you could report back, and we could kind of figure it out. Like, don't approach anything though.
You cool to go alone? I mean,
Or should we just go? I mean, how important do you think this other thing is?
I have a question. Would time 2 and entropy 1 be enough to let me look at 2 branching outcomes of luck?
Do you have entropy 2 or only entropy 1?
1.
A moment. I need to read the book
Okay.
for a brief second.
'Cause
Loading music.
Because when I looked at the entropy, so that does seem to say an
Yes.
entropy 2.
Yes, it is enough.
It's enough? All right. Well, I will try. Actually, I'll activate the site and I'm going to look at 2 branching outcomes of us retrieving the necklace or us not retrieving the necklace. Specifically, the way that he wants to kind of interpret this in his mind is just like with gold stars. If they're, like if one has a gold star of being more lucky, then yes. If the other one has no gold star, then okay, no. So that's how he's trying to determine it. He's just focusing in his mind. All right. Wow, that's great. And this is a 6, right?
Yes. No. 5.
All right.
No, 6. Sorry.
Still
You're
five,
mucking with time, which makes it slightly more difficult.
5 successes.
Ooh, so we had some doubles then.
Yes.
Excellent. Yes, you sense. I'm gonna get. You said only in the sense of the stars, but I'm gonna give you the stars, and I'm gonna give you slightly more because you rolled
Okay.
really well. You get 3 stars for without the other necklace,
Okay.
and the vision that you sense is this weird, shadowy looking, blood-stained claw that looks like gnarled claws coming out of like misshapen fingers, and it reaches for you and like it grabs onto something and
Okay.
pulls, tearing something away.
Okay.
In 5 stars, you see the same vision, but as it 5 stars for with the other necklace. You
Okay.
see the same vision, but when it tries to grab something, you see the claw being sucked in instead of pulling away. Something has captured it.
Okay, so Sebastian, while Beatrix is asking the question, he has his eyes sort of glaze over into the back of his head for a second. He's kind of like, no, we need that other necklace.
Okay.
Okay. I have an idea of how to find her.
Okay.
So we're kind of in a small town, right? Right. And if she is a fancy talent manager from LA, she would be having lunch at the fanciest place in town, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we just have to find out where she's having lunch today and go there.
Sure. That's a good plan. You want me to call her personal cell as well?
I'm worried about doing that because I don't want to tip her off that people are trying to track her down or something. I kind of want to just run into her, you know?
Do we know her relation with the family? Like, is she someone who would care about Mallory, or
She was Mallory's mother's friend, so
Yeah.
she
I
might
mean, this would have
have-
been in the file. They weren't like casual friends. They were close friends
Ah.
before her parents disappeared. It's like a long-standing family friendship kind of thing. And even after the mom passed, Regina has checked in on Mallory as she's grown.
Okay. But she has the necklace. Do we know she got it like through means that are, shady?
You are not aware. Nothing, no information you've gathered has given you the answer to that. It could go either way, but it could just be as likely that it was given to her as some sort of a gift.
I guess so. I express this as Doro. I say, I guess my concern is that if she is somehow implicated in all of this and she got the necklace from our demon friend or something, then she might not want to talk to us, not want to cooperate. But there's only one way to find that out, which is to talk to her.
Okay.
So
I think we might be running out of time. We might have to take that chance.
Okay.
yes, I think we just have to go to her in person though, so that we can take the necklace. If it comes to it, we can just grab it.
So
We could call her and ask to talk, like, just about Mallory, like to say that
Yes.
we're, investigate, and then we can go there and then we can shake her down for the necklace, or ask her nicely. We should probably start with honesty and then evolve from there.
I won't melt any doors this time, I promise.
Why don't you? I think one of us or some of us can call her, and simultaneously the rest of us can be finding out where she is at lunch. Just in case she isn't forthcoming about where she is, we can do our own research on the side.
Good plan.
And then go over there.
Okay. So Idris, you are following your friend, and I'm gonna make a phone call, and the two of you are gonna try find this fanciest restaurant in town.
You can do that,
Yes.
yeah.
All right. I'll make a phone call.
I would like to cut a hole in the gauntlet and go with spirits.
Roll it. And take
What's
a
the
point of
difficulty?
paradox.
What was the difficulty?
6.
2 successes.
Okay. Yeah, bust through the gauntlet. It's actually kind of a struggle. It takes you a little bit. Not the most pleasant of feelings, but you're through.
Shall we go?
He just nods, starts walking. And he leads you to things are a bit weird and warped from the umbral sides of things, but it looks to be some kind of a building that's actually you turn a few corners and you're in clearly an older part of the city, some gentrification in the area that hasn't reached this part yet.
All right, I would like to use Spirit 2 to look back across the gauntlet to see where I am.
Yeah, that's difficulty 5.
1.
You peer past the curtain just for a moment, but long enough to see what is in front of you. There is 2 men that are wearing kind of like black sweatsuits, basically, that are standing in front of this building. There's a door that goes inside. Interestingly enough, this is not the Breckwood Lounge.
Here he is. Can I use a combination of correspondence and a spirit to be able to figure out where in the real world I am?
Yes, assuming an anchor point. Where are you looking with regards to some other sort of landmark?
The place that I started from. So wherever the car was parked.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and roll it.
I rolled a 10 and a 1, so I think that's total 1 success, I think.
Yeah, what was the other die? Yeah, so that's a total of 1 success. You think you're around a couple miles away from where you started? A couple as in like 2-ish.
Oh, thank you. But I should probably go back now. This is curious, but not wise. I will make his way back.
He just walks off. The duty that he was asked to perform having been completed. And you walk back in the gauntlet to where you believe you originated from. Then do you go back over, or?
Yep. What's the difficulty for this again?
For going back?
Mm-hmm.
6. Get back. Again, a little bit tricky. Like, definitely not your preferred place. The city is kind of a pain, but you make it.
Hello. Oh, I guess it's still here. But you're like
He was
definitely
gone
not.
maybe 3 minutes.
Like I'm definitely not at the club, by the way. I don't know where that was, but it was that way.
Okay.
Beatrix is thinking, wait for Sebastian to call and see if we get an idea of where she is. Like she might drop where she is before we go to kind of like intercept or try to be there. That gives us somewhat of a clue.
Okay. Okay.
But she'd asked everyone else. Like she's like, I think that if we might be able to get an idea of where she is. more for certain, and then we can start heading there. Maybe even as Sebastian's still on the phone.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That.
So call from the van.
Yeah.
All right. So get in the van, I guess.
Yep.
And I'll
Where's
make
the
the phone
van
call.
traveling to while he makes the phone call?
Good question. I would almost not go anywhere until I started to like. We're
Your
trying to see
Google
if we can
search,
figure
right?
out if Sebastian. We
You're
can kind of
like
figure out where she is.
circling the block, kind of.
Yeah,
Until
yeah. She
you
kind
get
of,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. You placed the phone call.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Is this Regina Furstad?
Yes, you called me. This is she. Who am I speaking with?
Fantastic. I am Sebastian Thoreau, and I
The
actually,
writer?
indeed, yes. I am a writer, and I am also a private investigator at the moment, and we are desperately trying to help find your friend Mallory Mergaut. And we were wondering if we could just double check a couple of facts in the file that we have with you to see if we can help locate her.
Hello. I'm sorry. One moment. And you hear like a dull roar in the kind of background, chattering, plates clinking a little bit. Clearly she is somewhere, and you hear a little bit of like huffing and puffing for like 20-30 seconds or so. And then you hear the sound of wind pushing into the receiver. Yeah, sorry about that. Did you mention Miss Mallory? Something about an investigation. It seems a bit strange to me, Mr. Throw. I do actually really enjoy your books, so I'm kind of surprised to learn that you're a private investigator. I mean, they're sometimes lost on the younger generation, but I mean, honestly, I thought your latest was masterful in terms of the narrative. To be honest with you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Well, it's one of those things where I've worked with the police closely for years, and it's sort of was a natural evolution of my work there to actually use real life experience to put my ideas in paper, which is what
Does,
led me
does
to.
does everyone know that? Like, is that public knowledge
Yeah,
that you also work with the police departments? I'm asking the player.
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
like the kidnapping. It was sort of like the serial killer case was pretty big, and Sebastian, through pre-awakening without realizing what he was doing, did such a good likeness of the one person who managed to escape and catch a look of the man's face. He did such a good likeness without even realizing he was using correspondence that the guy was really pissed off and decided to like kidnap Sebastian for a couple of days before they ended up finding him. So that whole case was pretty public knowledge. Probably helped him sell a good couple of novels as well, because he was on TV and he actually got kidnapped by a serial killer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, unfortunate what happened to you. Definitely. I'm sort of surprised that after those kinds of cases, they would be involved in a cold disappearance case. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm glad to have you. And then she gives you an address. If you need me to confirm a few things or whatever, I'll be here. I'm having lunch, and
Perfect. We haven't eaten yet, so it can be a nice
well, no offense,
casual.
Mr. Thoreau, but you're interrupting a bit. It's just I'll definitely be able to sneak away. I'll find a way to wrangle the talent.
Okay. Where can we meet you?
She gave you an address.
Okay. All right.
Sebastian says that Beatrix will start heading towards there, even while he's still talking.
All right. Well, we'll see you there shortly. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for your help.
Of course. Could I get a sense of, I don't know, like maybe apprehension and or worry in her tone at like the fact that PIs are coming to her place?
We're gonna do perception and insight.
I think this one is empathy.
Yes, perception and empathy. Your
Okay.
difficulty will be 7. Reading someone solely over the phone, not an easy to accomplish task. Especially not someone who works as a talent manager and regularly has to conceal unpleasant things.
Very true. Five successes.
5 successes.
Yes, I had 2
You
doubles.
you must be exploding on these doubles.
I
That's
am.
insane. Okay, yeah, no, you are pretty certain about it. She did seem a bit thrown off, but it seemed more like she didn't anticipate, someone who was on your type of case calling her to be on a case that, as far as she knows, has been dead for weeks at this point.
Ah,
It
okay.
like became a cold case, the disappearance, before you all were even called.
Okay.
The sort of local police were handling it at first, and then when that didn't get anywhere, that's when you all were called. So yeah, it was more surprise than like apprehension.
Nice. Okay, good. So yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay. So she seemed a bit surprised, but more, I think, maybe along the lines that this case was sort of deemed cold, and that people were still looking into it. So I didn't really get any undue malice or anything from her, I think. So
Okay,
maybe we're
good.
good in that area.
That's good to hear.
Hey, do you think we could make a slight detour, Idris, and drive past that place that you were talking about on our way?
That's a good idea. I don't like. I'm afraid they'd sense us.
Yes, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
yes,
Okay,
that could be
then
dangerous.
then let's not do that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a little paranoid. A ghost did punch me, and I guess since
Mhm,
then I've
mhm.
been like just a little jumpy.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah, I mean I've tapped
It's
myself a little safer, but I don't know how well I tap myself. I don't know until I get punched again. And
Well,
she's
let's
driving.
not.
Punch by ghosts sometimes.
What?
It's pretty normal. It's pretty
No,
normal.
Oh,
it's
get
not
punched by
normal.
ghosts.
I don't know how to respond to that. I don't think I deserve to get punched by ghosts. I'm just trying to grow some plants, and plants usually don't have ghosts. Not that I know of. I gotta concentrate.
plants have ghosts. Idris, do plants have ghosts?
Oh no, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
They have spirits, It's tree spirits, flower
Oh.
spirits.
I mean, I guess spirits don't freak me out as much as ghosts. I mean, that makes sense. And I talk to them all the time.
All right.
Okay.
When we
All right, you
eat
know what?
vegetables, are we committing murder?
Oh, that's a good point. No, they're like, and when my garden, they're like, take me, I'm ready. I
So
can't speak for any other ones.
So they don't like scream or anything when we bite into a carrot.
My carrots, no.
Yes,
They're
but
all ready to go.
When you cut the grass, the smell of fresh cut grass is a scream.
Oh, yeah, I just let it grow. Because you are correct, doctor.
It hurts them, and that's how they scream, with the smell. This is true.
So tell them people
Don't
stop
think I will
calling the
ever have a
cops on my
lawn
house.
again. Now I'm terrified of having a lawn at my house. Anyway,
Lawns
focus,
are
focus.
violence.
Yes, doctor, you understand. We have to have a conversation sometime because you really get this on a deep level.
I do.
Yeah, sometimes I go and I try to break other people's lawnmowers. Don't tell anyone it was me. Yeah.
Wow.
You don't need magic for it. You just need a rock.
You're like a garden anarchist.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, good. Oh, maybe I should write a book too.
A Gardarchist.
Guard Gardarchist.
Anarder. No.
We'll workshop
We'll
it.
workshop it.
Yeah.
That's our second novel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any
The
more
Lawnmower
deep-
Murders.
Any more deep fundamental questions to be asked before you arrive at lunch?
Yeah.
I
We're
think we're
driving
good.
at the same time.
Yeah.
When you arrive to lunch, Regina is already outside. She seems to be head down, already kind of leaning against the outside of this establishment, and she's got something in her hand.
I would like to read her aura to see if there's anything odd or off about it.
Go ahead.
What's the difficulty?
3. Reading
One
auras
success.
is pretty standard spell. Yeah, there's nothing concealing her aura, so you see sadness, confusion,
Aww.
desperation.
I can tell you she's not secretly a demon, but she's not very happy.
Okay.
We can work with that. I mean, especially the fact that she's not the demon. So, that's good news.
Yes.
Shall we?
You should take the
Let's
lead.
go.
She seems to like you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she liked my novels. I mean, that's good. Mrs. Do we know if she's a Mrs. or a Ms. Verstad or Miss?
You're unaware.
Okay, so I'll go with Ms. because that is somewhere in between. Ms. Verstad?
She looks up and you see her eyes are kind of I'm not fading. Maybe they're not blank. It's not like a dead stare or something, but there's like they're like fading. There's a deep sadness, like even visible in her eyes. She holds out the thing she's holding in her hand to you.
What is this?
She kind of grabs the other side of your hand if you let her and
Yeah.
presses it into your hand with the other. And it's the necklace. And she says, I have a cold chill. And she like shudders at the memory that went down my spine. Almost like being touched by a ghost. And I was struck by this weird, overwhelming sense that you're supposed to have this. And oh my God, I sound like a crazy person.
Not at all.
No?
No. We, as I mentioned, we are a private detective investigative service, but we specialize in these kinds of things. Strange occurrences that people don't know how to solve themselves. And I'm sure you know the history of the estate.
Mallory's in a lot of danger, isn't she?
It's likely. But the good news is with, I believe, what you've just helped us out with, we can probably put an end to that.
Still kind of holding on to her hand. She says, please, if you can, please bring her back.
We'll try our best. I know what it's like to be taken by someone. And I know what it was like for my family to experience that. And I will do my best to make sure it doesn't happen to somebody else if I can avoid it.
He has a mom who unfortunately passed. Now I'm the closest thing that she has. I've never had a daughter, so she's always been the closest thing that I've had. You see a sigh and then the visage of a strong woman who has not been able to be not okay very often. And
Mm.
she wipes a tear away from her face and says, hmm, you had some questions that you wanted me to answer?
I think you gave us the answers before we asked for them.
I see. Um, well, then bring her back.
If you ever need to talk to somebody about this trauma, I work a lot because I still deal with a lot of it myself. But when I do get the chance, I have an excellent therapist, and he will actually hand her a card.
She takes it. You're not sure what she's going to do with it, but she takes it. And then she just nods and goes back inside.
Mm.
You can hear a chorus of young Generation Z age chorus of female voices coming from inside the restaurant.
That went well. I think it's possible that old Granny Mergaut might have had a hand in that.
Mm.
Idris, is she around?
Well, we don't necessarily have to know the answer to that. Doesn't change what we have to do.
That's true. So, back in the van, shall we have a look at this thing?
We should know all that we have before we head out.
Hmm.
I think we'll need it all.
I'm gonna activate all the sites that I have with just to look at this thing to see what sort of resonance it gives off. I have oh gosh, too many tabs open, too many tabs. Prime correspondence, entropy matter, and time. I'm gonna look at the thing with all of them. And that's 3 successes by any definition, I imagine. I'm not sure. What is your DC on this?
It's difficulty 3.
Yeah, 3
But
successes.
you don't really need it. This is a containment device made out of the same faith that composes the knife.
Okay. So I think I'm working with this here that over the generations, maybe the Mergauts or possibly Granny Mergaut, or I don't know who, was working on finding this demon and getting it out and putting it in this.
Okay. So we know where the demon has to go. We have some tools to help us face it, and we know roughly where it is. So
We still are unsure if it's the gardener or Harold, but I think Harold is just a mage that's made a deal with this demon.
I think we'll figure it out when we're there.
So are we going to go to the Breckwood, or are we going to invade this other place?
I want to investigate the other place.
The only thing I know is when we got the call, did we hear Mallory as well?
Yes, we did.
So we know where she is and that she's in danger.
She's at the Breckwood?
I believe so. I think that's the call that we got. At least that's where they said they were.
Oh, I forgot about that.
But conceivably, maybe I'm overthinking things here. Crime novelist. We could use magic to change our voice.
I suppose my only thing is see Beatrix is really thinking this is that our main goal was to bring her back. I mean, the demon would be good to put into a necklace, but our main goal was to help her first. And even if there's a chance that she could get hurt if we don't investigate that, that's a I don't know if that's a chance I'm willing to take. We know where we know where this other place is, and if we need to go and do that, we can. But I need to know if she's there or not.
So you want to check out the Breckwood first?
That's my concern is that's where, as far as we know, Mallory is, until we can tell that she's not, and then we can continue from there. We promised we'd bring her back.
Okay, yeah, let's go.
What do you feel about this, Idris?
There is no easy way to solve this problem, actually. Yeah, I have a good deal of understanding with the spirits, and well, going to save the woman is most likely a trap meant to ensnare us, but going to face him directly will also be quite dangerous. And you all do not have the necessary protections for dealing with spirits, if I understand your capabilities correctly.
Yes.
Then might I make a suggestion? I will keep our friend busy for a while, and you three take care of our friend and make sure she gets home safely.
You want to go there by yourself?
I have a feeling that we will all end up in the same location anyway. But I can be quite annoying, and all you all will need is a few minutes to get our friend to safety.
That's asking a
Hmm.
lot. You would choose this?
I think it is our best bet.
I just want you to be able to contact us if you get into trouble and you need us to come there immediately. So how will you do that?
If need be, I will have the spirits send a message.
Okay.
I have an idea. I'm not so good on mind. Who among you is good with mind?
I have mind. 3 mind.
All right. What I can try and I don't know if mine's going to be the right one.
I mean,
No, I can't do that right now. My correspondence is messed up. Damn it.
Dr. Doro, you would know that a lot of the work that you do involves mentally linking your own mind to the mind of a patient. That is something that you could also perform on someone without the treatment aspects in order to communicate telepathically. That is a thing that you can do.
Okay. Idris, if you consent to it, I can also mentally link with you.
That sounds like it could be fun.
Okay. I'm gonna walk over to him and just like I do with my patients, I'm going to like bring out my hands and then put my exactly. This is total Vulcan mind meld. Put my hands on either side of his face. Just relax. Relax your mind, relax your thoughts. And what do I have to roll for this? Arete? Arete?
Yep, arete at a difficulty of 6, unless you would like to spend. I would spend quintessence to reduce it. You have a large pool at the moment, and there's no reason not to. So you could go 6, or you could go as low as 3.
How much do I have to spend to make it 3?
3.
I will do that. I'll spend 3 quintessence.
Easy enough.
And I got 2 successes, but one is a 10. So is that 3?
Yep, 3 successes.
3 successes.
You feel the familiar feeling of two minds linking together. It is a intention-based connection. You need to intend to send a thought for him to hear you, or vice versa, but you are connected.
I'm going to think, can you hear me?
I think so. If it counts as hearing you, but I am aware of what you said. A thought.
Yes. Good. So let us know how it goes. And if you're in trouble, we will know immediately.
All
At
right.
the speed
Leave,
of the human mind.
and I leave the rest of this to you.
Okay. So we will go our separate ways and see you soon. May the spirits protect you.
Of
How
course.
is each group traveling? Idris, are you going on foot or are you taking an Uber?
We're just walking.
And the party, are you all going to drive in the van to the Breckwood?
They're expecting us anyway.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
driving in the van? Okay.
Yeah.
You do so, you arrive. The parking lot is mostly empty, except for a black Mercedes AMG. And the doors and the inside appear to be closed.
Hey, Beatrix use sense life just to see how many life forms she can pick up in the vicinity.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, she'll try to do that probably while still in the van. Well, they're
Okay.
parked.
More difficult for you to do without access to natural resources to give you this information, but easily done. Go ahead and roll it.
Okay.
Should just be difficulty 3, I believe.
Two.
There are 2 life forms inside of this building.
Okay. That's what she expects. So she'll say, there's 2 living things in there. Whether it's Mallory and whoever has her, I can't tell.
I can get us in the back. There's a back entrance, or do we want to go in through the front?
We could try. My whole thing is I think they know we're coming, and I'm a little worried about Mallory's safety. But I'm not sure how to best approach this.
Well, there's 3 of us, and we can try to cover as many of the exits as we can, so that if they try to flee, if they hear a knock on the door in the front, if they try to go out the back, then one of us will be there.
Okay, yeah, I think that would work. We'll make it an approach to the front very visibly, and have one of us in the back. Okay.
So, do you want me in the front because I was the one on the phone?
You said you could get us in the back, though.
Yeah.
So maybe you should go to the back.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. We'll approach from the front, and we'll take the chances that we take.
Okay.
Okay.
Go team.
Go team.
Go team.
I'm gonna make.
Ashton approaches the back as Beatrix and Dr. Duro approach the front.
I'm gonna spend a
and
point
I'm
of
going to-
quintessence and activate my prime armor.
And I'm going to be maybe like 10 feet away from Beatrix so that I can get a side view of the building as well. One side.
Beatrix will very much just take the direct approach. Like she'll take the attention on herself.
Okay. So you walk inside. Sebastian, do you enter through the back as they walk inside
So
simultaneously?
as I'm coming through the back, what I want to do is to actually look at these alleyways, these entrances first to see, if there's anyone else or anything at the back entrance, any people or animals or anything.
You make perception and alertness
Okay.
at difficulty 5.
Okay.
While Beatrix and Dr. Doro, I will tell you what you see. As you walk in the front door, you see a woman that fits the description of Mallory Mergaut, tied to a chair, sitting. She looks weak. And next to her is a figure that looks like death. It wears no robes. It has wreaths of shadows that cling to its body. There is a crown that looks to be made of some kind of obsidian. Out of its back sprout 2 large feathered black wings. And outstretched from its stomach is a terrible gnarled claw. This claw is currently reaching into Mallory and pulling something, and a voice that wails like the sounds of the dead meets you, screaming, "You're late. I've already begun." And that is where we're going to take our break.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And we're back. Our party of investigators is in quite the predicament at the moment. What I need everyone to do for me, including Idris, is go ahead and roll a d10 and add your dots in dexterity to the result of this d10.
Okay. So for that perception check I made, by the way, it was 3.
I got 9.
Uh,
I have
5.
6.
so we're rolling, sorry, a D10 plus dexterity. Okay.
For
So
6.
my total is 5.
Sebastian has 5. And Beatrix, what did you get?
5.
5. Okay. So, Dr. Doro, you have the first action of the group. As you come in, take all of this in, and you are the first to move. What would you like to do?
Okay. I would like to use Hands of Death because that's all I have. And let's see. It says I can also, where is it? I can also get wait, no, maybe I don't have entropy. I don't have entropy. Never mind. That would have been good. I think I'm just gonna do like a ranged psychic Hands of Death attack on this demon. See if I
Okay.
can knock it away from Mallory, or at least just any damage I can do to it.
Okay.
Okay.
So you will roll your arte, and you will do so at difficulty 6. Same rules for spending quintessence apply.
Alright.
And you can spend points of quintessence up to your number of successes to make the blast more lethal.
Oh, great. Okay. So I can spend quintessence before and after I roll, basically. But for yeah.
So, yeah, so you can spend some to reduce the difficulty, but you can also spend some after you know how many successes you have, up to the number
Okay.
of successes, to make it more potent. It will make the damage aggravated instead of just, I think it's lethal in 20.
Okay. All right. Then I would like to spend 3 quintessence to lower the difficulty.
The 3. Okay.
hmm And then
Will you
I'll
be
roll
spending? Will you be spending any willpower for free successes?
Oh, I also get using Hands of Death. I get an auto success. Let me
Okay.
find that.
I trust you.
And yeah, using life and forces. I can use one or the other or both, but I'll use both. I don't know if that changes what I roll, but
It does not.
okay. Then yeah, I get an auto success.
Yep. Horses does extra damage.
Great. Then yeah, definitely using forces. Okay. So difficulty is now 3, right?
Mhm.
All right. I got 2 successes off of the roll.
Okay.
So 3
Would you
total.
like to boost both of them or all of them?
Yeah. I'll boost.
Okay.
Wait, let me see. So we're at 13 on the ring now. Yeah, I'll boost 2 of them.
Okay.
Or you know what? It's a successful damage roll. I'll boost all 3 of them. Just like try to knock as much as off of this demon as I can, right off the top.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. Go ahead and subtract 6 from the quintessence ring.
Mhm.
Idris, you have okay. I don't want to penalize you too hard. So do you intend to let Idris know what is going on?
Oh,
On
he
your
will
turn?
know. I mean, yeah, I feel like if we were mentally linked, and you can let me know how this works, but yes. Absolutely. As soon as I see the demon, I feel like that mental link, he would know. He would also see the demon, if that's
It
how it works.
requires, yeah. It requires intention. So you do
Okay.
need to state that you're doing so intentionally. But yeah, that's why I
Then,
wanted to check
yeah,
before we move on.
Yeah, thank you. I would like to show him the demon. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Idris, you get a mental image of the site as described earlier, and this is your chance to act. What would you like to do?
I use correspondence 3 to go where they are. Hopefully using the connection to Dr. Doro as kind of a focuser to make the trip easier.
Seems reasonable. Difficulty 6, correspondence.
Point
Any
of willpower.
willpower or Quint? Okay, point of willpower.
1, 2, 2 successes.
Okay.
Plus the
You
willpower success. So 3.
okay? Yeah, easy enough. You pop up basically to the other side of Dr. Doro as you complete your spell at the end of this round. Sebastian, you and Beatrix go next simultaneously. So I
Okay.
need actions from both of you. What are each of you intending to do?
So what was the result of my perception check before? Do I see anyone else back there or anything else back there?
Nope. You are relatively certain, based on a quick cursory examination, 5 to 10 seconds, that you are alone back there.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I am going to actually dip my there. He pulls out this piece of wood, which was the piece of wood that he originally scratched his first exit doorway with to escape from the serial killer. It's just a splinter of wood, really, and I will dip it in the inkwell that has my blood in, and I am going to, on the brick, paint me just the outline of a door using matter and come through the back. I want basically the rectangle that I've done. Those bricks just need to turn into dust. And I will spend a point of quintessence to bring that down. So what would my difficulty be? So there's no witnesses here, but it is vulgar.
6.
Okay, so I'll spend a point of quint to bring that down to 5. I have no willpower to use, unfortunately. 3 successes.
Okay. The wall crumbles into dust.
And
Beatrix.
I'm just going to make my way into the building.
I think and she intends to try to use her entropy 1 to sense a flaw, if that is applicable to a demon, to basically try to figure out a weak spot. Where could they focus?
Yeah, go ahead and roll it.
Okay.
Seems like a reasonable thing to me.
She's gonna use a willpower.
Okay.
This information is
Well
probably
within your right.
all right. 3.
You get the sense that the claw, while menacing and clearly hurting Miss Mallory at the moment, is probably some kind of weak point, given that it rests away from the rest of the creature and does not seem as well protected by the strange bloody shadows that cling to it.
Would it be a free action to yell this? If not, she'll wait.
If you can convey it to me in 3 words, you can have
Oh.
it as a free action.
Yeah. Hit the claw.
Good enough.
Got it.
Now the demon goes. I need everyone except for Idris to roll me your unspent number of willpower dice at difficulty 7.
I'm at the back. Does that count?
Oh yeah.
Me too. Okay.
yeah.
So my previous ward that I'd pulled up, not the prime ward, the other ward that I had put up before, is that still active?
Remind me, which spell was that?
It was a ward of correspondence, prime, and matter. So if anybody, although that specifically was on scrying type stuff though, so I don't know if this is going to have an effect there.
We'll see. Thank you for reminding me of this.
I also have my prime armor because I have no willpower to spend.
You have no willpower at all available?
Nope.
So this is an auto fail for you. Okay. Beatrix, how many successes?
3.
Dr. Doro?
4 successes.
Dr. Doro, you are fine. Beatrix, you take 1 point of willpower damage. And Sebastian, you do not have any willpower available, so you will take 1 aggravated damage to your health track. As you all see that the area of the entire building is filled with the screams of the dead as tiny tears rip open in it and wailing evil spirits crawl their way into the room. That is his turn. We are at the end. Sebastian, you gain a point of paradox from your spell. Dr. Doro, you gain a point of paradox from your spell. Idris, you gain a point of paradox from your spell, and you are here with them now. You just managed to escape the wailing screams effect since you arrived at the end of the turn. Dr. Doro, it is your move.
Okay. Well, now I know to target the claw specifically, so I will do the same attack, but at the claw this time.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot to spend things. Oh, I rolled really well. Holy crap. The difficulty was it going to be 6 again?
Are you using a psychic blast again?
Yeah, the same the same as before. The hands of death, but like
Is it a forces-based attack or a mind-based attack?
it's forces and life, I think. Yeah, life and forces.
Okay. And then it'll be difficulty 6. How many successes?
I got 4
Good.
successes.
Pretty good. Okay.
I'm amazed.
Quintessence. Would you like
Yeah.
to spend
Well,
any to boost the damage?
yes. And this time, let me see, because I have 4 quintessence of my own. I don't want to completely drain the ring in case other people need it. So I'll actually use 2 of my own and 2 from the ring.
Okay. So you're boosting all of the damage. Got it.
Yes. Yes. Take down this demon.
Idris, it's your action. You've quickly taken in the battlefield. You see spirits clawing their way through the environment around you. Dr. Doro is focusing on the demon with terrible intent. Beatrix is watching, and Sebastian is still slightly out of your view.
I was muted. Idris is going to use a combined correspondence life and spirit effect, and while taking out the knife and using it to cut into the palm of his hand, with the intention to effectively turn himself into a living voodoo doll.
For the faith.
Mhm.
So you're using the faith knife.
Mhm.
Interesting. Roll it.
What would the difficulty for this one?
Let's see. 7.
Okay. That's not good. I will spend a point of willpower in that case.
Okay. 3 success. Any quint?
I have no quintessence available.
We
Okay,
have a
so
ring.
auto success though. He needs to touch it and is focusing on a different action right now.
Got it.
I think the difficulty was 7. Nope, I have only 1 success, the willpower success.
1 success is still a success. You feel the faith. In your case, it really just feels like energy flowing from the knife into you, but it's taking longer to draw all of that power into yourself than what you're wanting. It's working, it's just a slow moving process right now.
Is it affecting the demon in any way?
It doesn't seem to be at the moment, but you all can see it affecting Idris as he is starting to glow. A sort of yellowish, goldish gleam that's pouring from his skin.
Make his way towards the demon. This turn.
Okay. Sebastian and Beatrix, your consecutive move.
Would you like to go
Um,
first, Beatrix, or?
No, Sebastian can go.
Okay. So I'm coming into the building, and back side of this place, what is here? What sort of room did I come into?
You blew away about half of the storage when you
Okay.
opened your door.
Okay. So what is around me?
Just one door that leads out of here.
Okay, but I mean, if this was a storage area, as I'm moving in, what things can I see around?
Yeah, I mean, it's a storage area for a bar. So you see lots of boxes of liquor. There's some like food stuff, kind of like large industrial like things of noodles. There's like
Great.
the frozen section that is now like leaking frozen air that you broke a hole through
Okay.
part of it. And the inside of that is like various different frozen foodstuffs, burgers that are
Shelving and metal things.
yeah.
All right. So Sebastian is going to take out this set of mantras that he carries with him, which are from the Hindu Vedas. It is passed down to him from, his teacher in the Euthanatos, and they deal specifically with rites of creation and destruction. So he is going to be concentrating with these. This is one of his tools. He's going to be concentrating with these mantras and reading them out. And what he is going to do is attempt to create some out of the matter that is around him, the metal and the wood and the stone and anything. I want to attempt to make as many soldiers, animated golems, as I can.
That is going to be a tough spell, but you definitely can try. The difficulty will be 6.
Okay.
You
I
have
will
no willpower to
burn.
spend.
I don't, but I will have 1 quintessence left that I can burn, and then I can get more later. So
Down
I
to
will-
difficulty 5.
all right. Okay. So do not fail me now. Come on, zeros. Those have been getting some real good zeros today. I'll try those ones. Okay. So difficulty 5. 1 success. No, sorry, that's a 7, not a 4. 2 successes.
Okay. You are able to create 2 golems. One of them is about of a human size, and the other one is more like 2 feet high.
Okay.
But
Good.
they both are pulled from the metal and assemble themselves as you work your spell.
And we're going to start marching forward, but my intention before the next round, I'll let you know my intention now is I'm going to give them the command to start attacking the thing. But on my next round, I'm going to use Prime to infuse them with Prime on my next round. That's my intention.
Okay.
Okay.
Beatrix.
That's my go.
Okay. 2 questions. I don't know if she'll know this. One, is the claw still in Mallory's? There's still connection between her and the demon?
Yeah, it looks like it's currently being blasted. You can't survey the damage yet because many things happen at once, so the damage
Right.
isn't done being done. But you have that like split second impulse of like this energy blasting into the side of it.
Right. Okay. And the other thing is, could she tell, was it the sound of the screams that was hurting them, or is it more like a supernatural?
Do you have any skill in like occult or
Uh,
religion or something?
she has 2 in occult.
At 2 in occult, you probably wouldn't be sure.
I'm sure. Okay.
Not an area of expertise.
Yeah. So she's like, well, I'm not going to worry about subtlety then. And instead, is there any like fire, like say from the kitchen or anything that she could perhaps manipulate?
There doesn't seem to be any fire or elements around.
Would there
At
be
the moment.
electricity?
At the very back, there's some frayed electrical wires that are crackling a bit at the moment, as if someone had frayed them by dissolving the wall that they were contained in.
Oh, fantastic. She's like, I sense Sebastian's chaos. Fantastic. And she would like to use forces to direct that electricity right into the claw.
Into the claw. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll me the spell. You are only manipulating electricity, so
Yes.
it will be a forces 2 effect, not 3. So that will be a difficulty of 5.
Okay. She's got 2 quintessence. She's going to use one of them.
Difficulty 4.
Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, 3.
3.
Yeah.
Okay. You blast it.
Oh, she's totally using her wooden spoon too to direct it. Like she's like winding it up. and just like kind of
As is-
gathering it, like she's gathering it, and then just like directing it.
As a tradition.
Of course, she's adding a little spice to the soup. Oh, I'm
Mhm.
sorry, gumbo.
The
know where we are.
demon,
Oh yeah.
the demon howls in fury, not pain, but fury, as the claw releases from Mallory and retracts itself back into the demon's body. You hear the chorus of the dead as every spirit begins to speak in unison. That was a mistake. 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 And the spirits rush into each of you and attempt to possess you.
Whoa.
I need everyone to make me a willpower roll.
I ain't got none. I ain't got none.
Sebastian, you automatically fail.
Do any of my shields help me at all?
I will give you the chance.
Oh my
You
God.
can block it if you roll a successful stamina check at difficulty 7. So you'll only
Okay.
need one success.
Okay.
And your shield will be spent plus 1 point of aggravated damage if you succeed.
Okay.
I have one question. I'm assuming not, but because her protection spell was kind of forces based, this is probably not effective.
Unfortunately, Spirit
Okay.
Metal will just pass through it.
Okay, I was just checking.
2 successes. So I do take that point of aggravated damage, but I'm not possessed.
And your shield is gone.
Okay.
The necklace protect me in this case?
Actually, it would. A spirit tries to possess you, but between the faith that's currently surrounding you and the ward on your necklace, it can't even approach you. In fact, as one of them tries to approach you and is pushed away by these things, you see the spirits make like a little bit of a bubble around you, which is odd because as they were trying to do, they normally flock towards you. Beatrix and Sebastian and Dr. Doro, all 3 of you take a point of paradox on this turn.
Okay. I'm gonna send you a picture of my roll because I don't want you to think I'm cheating my rolls. I got 7 successes. 3 of
trust you.
Damn.
But
I
that
got
is very
3.
substantial.
It's crazy. I rolled 3 10s and a 6.
Damn.
Very good.
I'm sending you a picture.
I want to see it.
Sure.
You're-
I still
Print it out.
believe you, but I'm happy
Frame
to
it.
take a look and be excited for you. Beatrix, how many did you roll?
2.
2. Beatrix, you are possessed for 1 turn.
Ah. Yeah, here. There's enough of me in here.
Dr.
I don't have room
Doro,
for anyone
you
else.
are fine. Sebastian, you fight them off. And Idris, you are fine. That will be a part of the action. Let me look at this really quick.
Just
It's all downhill from here. I just know it.
That's a good time to
So
roll good, though.
technically, it would be only 6 because of the 1, but that is still substantially
Yes.
successful.
Okay. I always forget about the
Um,
okay.
Yeah, no, you're completely good. That's still overwhelmingly successful. We wanted 3 successes on this,
Okay.
which is why Beatrix is possessed for 1 turn.
It
We
happens.
are now going to, let's see. Idris, what protections do you have on at the moment besides the fate that is currently surrounding you?
I have the ability to soak all the damages. I don't remember what the other ones were, so just the soaking damages.
Okay. The incoming damage is 3 aggravated. So you should be able to soak some of that. What ends up happening to it?
Yeah, I mean, roll the something. Oh, I rolled a 1 and a 5, so I botched that one.
So you take 3 aggravated.
This is fine. Fine.
It hurts, but you're confident. Everything's going to be fine. Dr. Doro.
He had a -1 dice roll penalty. But that's not for your arete, though, is it? Or is it?
I don't think it's for.
I'm gonna say
RTA,
no.
just-
Okay.
It's probably everything else, but probably
Yeah.
not that. Dr. Doro, what would you like to do? You blasted away the claw with the help of Beatrix, although she seems a bit off.
I look at Beatrix. You all right?
Can she communicate or no?
No.
Okay. What is Mallory looking like?
Head bowed, out of it, unconscious.
Unconscious.
But does not have a claw in her.
Okay. I think I'm gonna yell out, "Someone get her out of here!" And then I'm gonna just blast the demon again.
Okay.
Can't really do both, and I think I want to just focus on the demon on my turn. Okay, so arete. Okay. Difficulty was 6 and an auto success. Oh, I got a 1. So the auto success is canceled out, but I did get 2 8s. So 2 success.
Okay. Will you be spending any quintessence to make it aggravated this time?
Yeah, I'll spend 1. Can I tell, does the demon look like damaged or sad or anything? Can I tell how damaged it is?
Let me ask you a question, Dr. Doro. How many scary demons made of shadows and blood do you think that you've come toe to toe with in your days?
I mean, not many. Like,
tough.
if not
It's
0,
tough.
then none.
It's tough, and the magical assault between you and Beatrix was enough to blast the claw away, which it clearly did not like. So it's tough to say, but your spells are having an effect. It's not like it's having no effect.
Okay, you know what? I will spend 2 to make them both aggravated.
Okay.
And I'll spend them from mine. Those are my last 2.
From your pool. Okay.
My
Got it.
personal pool, yeah.
Idris, it's your turn. Would you like to continue the voodoo doll process?
We go all in. I'm going to spend that last point of willpower. Wow, I got another 1. So 2 successes plus 1, so 3 total successes.
Go ahead and roll me stamina at difficulty 5, please.
Wow, I botched that one again. I really did. It's a 1. Look, I'm not going to see this. It's 1. Nope, the camera doesn't have. I botched that one. I rolled a 1 and a 2.
Oh no.
Okay. The space that Idris was containing explodes, and the demon does not seem to like it, but he is no longer a voodoo doll. This has dealt some damage to him, but it has also dealt some damage to Idris. Idris, take 1 more aggravated damage.
Sure. All right. Okay.
Sebastian, you go at the same time as Beatrix, not Beatrix.
So yeah, my intention is still the same. I'm telling them to rush forward and attack, and I'm still reading those Hindu Vedas, and I am going to infuse them with prime.
Okay. You currently do not have any quintessence, right?
I do not.
So go ahead and roll a spell with your prime, it will be difficulty 6. You will be destroying the matter of some of the stuff in the room to create the quintessence to infuse them with.
I don't care. All right, what's the difficulty?
6.
6. Okay, 1 success.
Okay. You are able to enchant one of them, and I assume you will choose the bigger guy.
Big boy. Yeah. And as I'm doing this, I'm trying to get to Dr. Doro so I can touch that ring.
Kiss the ring.
Okay. You can see with like a bladed hand on the larger golem, it comes and stabs through the back of it, dealing some damage. And the other guy fails his roll and does not manage to pierce the strange shadowed armor that this demon contains. So, all right, damage mark. Beatrix, not Beatrix. You know, that doctor to you has been pretty annoying today. I mean, the guys earlier were just passing out daggers, and you thought
Yeah.
that dagger was pretty cool, but you
Yeah.
didn't get one. You want to
Right?
lash out.
Yeah,
How
I
would you
do.
like to try to hurt Dr. Dora?
Angry, huh? Here's a question. Would it have to be magical?
Not necessarily. Although I would say that you would go for the form that Beatrix is most likely to use to injure someone. So if you think that would be a magical attack, then it would be a magical attack. If you think that she'd lash out physically, then it would be a physical attack.
Because here's my argument. If it's personal, she'd want to get like up and like she'd like want to go and like, wait, does she have the necklace? She has one of the things, right?
The ring, the quintessence
The ring.
ring.
Yeah, so
Oh,
I think
I
she'd
do,
be like, I think like she'd actually focus on that. She's like, I want a thing.
Oh
You
no.
would like to try to grapple her and steal the ring.
Yeah.
All right.
My precious.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, I want a thing.
Make me opposed strength and athletics rolls.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Oh God. Okay, both of us. Okay,
Yeah.
we're
the
both at
difficulty
God
is-
levels. Good.
I'm rocking a heavy 2 altogether.
Ooh, I have
difficulty-
one.
Oh shit.
Difficulty 5.
Oh no. Okay.
I do have quintessence. Well, can I use the ring? Can I use the ring can I use quintessence from the ring?
You cannot reduce the. This is not a magical
Oh,
roll,
got
so
it.
quintessence does not apply.
Never mind. Oh boy. Oh my God, I got a 6. Okay. But you got 2 successes, so.
Yeah,
Oh,
2.
wow.
Beatrix, you grab the ring, and inexplicably, your hand moves and throws it towards the demon.
Ah!
What are
I'm assuming she still can't talk.
you doing?
She's just real focused and angry. I think she's like, if she's muttering, she's like, "Want a ring? I want a thing." Oh God, I guess
So-
it's gone again.
So
Wanted a
not
ring.
to, in the sense of fairness, because it is on my sheet and you might want to make use of it as a storyteller, I have a 3-point floor flashbacks to being the time when I was abducted and somebody has been abducted here. So is that floor active at the moment? Am I getting a
I hate to
flashback?
I hate to do that to you, buddy, but I do think that we need to roll for it because you are currently out of willpower.
Yes.
So it's definitely going to be front of mind at the moment. Roll me your stamina at a difficulty of 8.
I'm currently at a -1 dice, so I have 1 dice for this.
We want a high roll.
2 successes.
It's tough because, there actually is that part of you that would love this moment to mourn what happened to you. But you've come so far. You've gone through so much to get to this point. And no, your focus is completely there.
Nice.
The demon claw snatches the ring as it comes back out a little bit from
Oh my
the
God.
spirit.
Oh my God.
It takes the ring, and the energy from it is immediately dispersed as it uses its faith to explode the ring, launching out the remainder of the quintessence in a explosion. How many quintessence was left in the ring?
I think 8. I
Eight?
wish I had used it all. I was trying to save it for other people.
Not Beatrix is very sorry. Well, no, Beatrix is very sorry. Not Beatrix doesn't care. She's the
Everybody,
worst.
everybody will take 1 aggravated damage.
Oof.
Okay. How do we count that on the health track as bruised or hurt?
So you'll fill it with a box with an X would be aggravated, and
So,
then
but it'll be the bruised.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. I think aggravated is really like healability in here.
Oh.
And it still like accumulates in the same way.
yeah. So
It's
it goes
aggravated damage.
normal damage and then aggravated and then lethal damage. Once your box fills up with lethal damage, you are dead.
Okay.
But that is the demon's turn. Beatrix, you are no longer possessed and probably actually you're completely unaware of what you just did.
Oh.
You just are hit by this flash of blinding light and you're like,
Ah.
where did that go and how did that happen? What is going on?
Looks around. The doctor giving me the stink eye?
Speaking of that, Dr. Doro, it is your turn.
I give Beatrix the stink eye.
Ah! That's the enemy. What's going on? Am I
Are you
missing
back to
time?
yourself again?
What?
Are you going to
What do you
attack me again? I don't have any more rings.
I wouldn't. Why would I? Oh my God! What happened to the ring?
Never mind. We'll talk about it later.
Oh man! If I had that ring, I would have protected it.
What is your intention, Dr. Doro?
My intention is to, just trying to take this demon down. That's it. Dr. Doro is very focused on this demon. So,
Makes sense to me.
oh, no more quintessence. But she's going to make another attack on the demon.
Okay.
Whoa. Let's see. Oh, still rolling very well. 1, 2, and then a 10 for 3, 4. Oh, and if that was Hands of Death, and then I get that auto success. So that's 5 successes.
Okay.
I don't have any quintessence to make
Excellent.
it worse.
You blast into it.
That's for the
Beatrix,
ring.
It is your turn. You have lost hold of the faith that you were containing in yourself. It does look as though it has somewhat injured the demon as it blasted out of you. And there's still energy in the knife if you had some other method by which you wanted to use it.
Idris is going to slowly stand up, and as he does, he is going to say a quick prayer to Father Obutama before giving himself over to be possessed by the Loa. His hair is going to take on this pure white texture, and then he is going to basically go to sleep as Obutama takes over. And he will lose the ability to do true magic, but gain access to the deflect harm charm. And he can deflect levels of damage up to 9 levels. And he gets the arcane background as well. That's it.
Nice.
The transformation will take your whole turn.
Yeah, I think it's considered an action to let yourself be possessed by something.
Okay. Understood. Sebastian,
Okay.
your soldiers are currently in the process of fighting it. I assume you do not change their command.
No, I do not. If they are fighting it, what I'm going to try and do is to still speaking these verses of creation and destruction. What I'm going to start doing is fashioning a net out of prime to try and go around the demon and anchor the net and the pulling into the amulet. And if possible,
it.
I'm willing to take paradox for this, but I want to try and destroy as much matter around me as well to fuel this with quintessence.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead and roll the spell for me. You can do so with 2 bonus dice, given the scenario.
What is the difficulty?
Mm, 6.
All right. 2 successes.
Okay. You fashion the net, and it begins pulling.
Okay.
It has captured the demon and is slowly tugging as it strains against the weight of the power of this creature towards the amulet that you hold aloft.
And I get 3 words, maybe. I'll just yell out, push it in.
Excellent. Beatrix.
Then what she will do is that she's going to there's air and wind, yeah? Like she wouldn't have to create that to be able to affect it.
There is moving air in here because there is half a wall missing on the backside of the building.
Once again, thank you, Sebastian. And she'll basically use her manipulated forces to try to kind of tunnel tornado push as much force of air at the demon towards Sebastian and the amulet.
Excellent. And Forces gives you a bonus success on the power. So go ahead and roll your arete at a difficulty of 5. And spend any quintessence that you might like.
She's got like 1, so she's gonna hold on to it for now. So that's 1, 3.
3 successes. Did that
Yeah.
include the automatic one?
No.
So
No,
4
it didn't.
successes. Okay. You
So like a little more
push.
wind shows up. Like, oh wait.
You push, and you all watch, tired, bruised, or beaten, as the demon is completely pushed into the necklace.
Sorry if it knocks you over, Sebastian.
Ow.
Are we still in combat?
No.
I need acupuncture and a chiropractor.
Beatrice will definitely run over to Mallory and assess her.
You do so. Go ahead and roll. Are you assessing her with life magic or by physical means?
She's got medicine too. She'll try physical first.
Okay. She seems a little malnourished. Her wrists are really bruised. It seems like she's probably spent a lot of time in some kind of chains or handcuffs or bound as she is locked into this chair at the moment. There's some blood matted in her hair, which probably means that her head has come to some kind of an injury at some point in time. But she's alive, and for what she's been through, her pulse is fairly strong.
Okay. So her she's like stable right now as far as Beatrix can tell physically. Yeah. Okay.
Physically, yeah.
I have a question for Idris. Have we seen the Loa riding Idris before?
Nope.
Okay. So, just looking at Idris. You okay, buddy?
What happened to you? You look very different.
He kind of just turns and looks at you all for a moment.
I think Idris, you're probably inclined at the moment towards inspecting the sanctity of this poor woman's spirit.
thing. We'll do that.
It seems injured. It would require some kind of actual spirit magic likely to heal her. It seems as though part of her soul, or essentially avatar, had been absorbed by the creature before you were able to remove the claw that had sunk into her. Because demons are fucked up.
Then Idris's hair will slowly turn back as a kind of white mist will pour out of him. And once that happens, the kind of light changes, and you can see that most of his body is mangled and bruised. But before he collapses, he will use a combined life and spirit effect to attempt to heal the young lady. What's the difficulty?
For spirit healing, we're gonna say difficulty 6.
1 success.
It's gonna take time. She probably needs not necessarily constant attention, but some repeated healings over time. A lot of damage was done. You're not quite a master. A master maybe would have an easier time of it, but it's gonna take you some time. And you are near collapse at the moment.
He looks real bad.
And
No,
just
he
passes
looks
out.
he looks terrible.
Oh, Beatrix would automatically try to do whatever she could with her life magic to help Idris. She's like, Idris, I don't mean to be rude. You look horrible. And she'll,
He does not respond.
uh,
Oh,
You remember
wow.
that point
Oh.
of quintessence that you have?
oh, she thinks this might help.
If you do a healing spell and infuse that point of quintessence into it, that might help.
She'd do it. She'd do it. He's looking real bad. She can't let someone be hurt that bad. So she'll roll.
Please do.
While this is going on, Sebastian is sort of like clutching his ribs and going up to Dr. Doro and saying, I hate to be a downer, but we still have to deal with Harold.
Yes. Yes, we do. I look at his ribs and I'd like to do some of my psychic healing to remove some of that damage for him if possible.
Okay.
Sure. I have 2 points of ag. Or 3? What am I on? 2 or 3? I think 3 actually. Yeah, I'm at
oh.
3 points of ag.
What would be the difficulty on this?
The difficulty would be 6.
I got 1. Oh, actually, no. I rolled 1 success, but then a 1. So
No successes.
nada.
Healing aggravated damage is hard. It's probably because you spent all of your quintessence. Usually infusing that kind of energy would help heal in this scenario, but you are tapped at the moment.
I'm sorry, I can't
Um,
help you right now, but
I'm
you're
fine.
right. We
Idris needs the help.
Beatrix, how did you do?
What was the difficulty again?
It should be 6.
Okay, then 2.
That's enough. Idris, you are healed for 1 point of aggravated.
Okay. You're, how you doing? That's the best I can do right now.
he needs
No,
more.
would I be conscious now, or would I still be unconscious?
It takes a couple seconds, like probably over the span of almost half a minute. He like starts to stir, and then he comes back to consciousness, and you're aware now, but you still really feel like you'd rather not get up off the floor. It would take like a great effort for you to just get up right now, but you can.
I walk over to Idris and say, I will try my best to give you more healing. And I'll try to do some healing on him as well. Oh, much better. Difficulty 6 again. The ones always get me. I did roll a
difficulty is
1,
6.
but I did get 1 success outside of that. So
Yeah.
if that
For
does
for
anything.
for Idris, it's the same as Sebastian. Like the magic is potent enough to dull some of the pain, so it doesn't hurt quite so bad, but it doesn't actually heal any of the physical damage that's been done.
Is Mallory bound or restrained in any way?
She does have like basically a like a rope tie kind of. It's like a short length of rope around each of her hands. It would not be easy to undo. It's just hard while you're in a chair.
If I see the knife that Idris has maybe dropped in his hands, I'm going to gently borrow it and try and cut those ropes.
You can do so easily.
Okay. And then how much contestants could I get from just destroying matter? Because I fucked up this building anyway. May as well continue.
So it's weird. You'll continue accruing paradox, which we should talk about at this point.
Yeah.
You can all already sort of get a sense with Sebastian. There is like physical propulsive force that comes off of him. It's not enough to like knock someone over, but if you were to try to push your hand onto him right now, there would be this like effect, like pushing your hand backwards. He has actual force that is now like paradoxically pushing out of him at all times.
So how much paradox should I have from that last spell? How much did I gain?
You should be at like around 5 or 6 at this point.
Okay, so what would you like me to be at, 5 or 6?
It shouldn't affect the remainder of the story, but we'll say 5 is okay.
Okay, cool.
What is I have 3 paradox. What does that do? Does that have any effect?
You haven't accrued enough. It hasn't really done anything to you yet. But should you cast more spells, Dr. Doro would be aware that you would start suffering strange anomalies like what's happening to Sebastian at the moment.
Okay.
So
but you can, to answer your question, Sebastian, you can continue to cast, and an object like will have a certain amount of quintessence store in it, and you will basically roll against your arete, and the amount of successes corresponds to the amount of quintessence as you disassemble the object to dust.
He's going to be starting to attempt this, but if anyone wants to stop him because you would know this process, then you're welcome to stop him, but he will try to.
Is it bad to do that? Because I'm like,
I might get more paradox.
Oh, I see. Do you want me to try instead?
What do you think? That's not a good idea now.
You already are kind of affected.
Okay. Sorry.
It might get worse.
Pushy, but like not by saying anything, just by being. You're very pushy.
Okay. All right. I'll deal without it for now. It's okay.
I think we need to get Mallory home.
Yes.
Or maybe to the hospital. We need to get her out of here.
Mallory.
Oh, to the police too.
And we
with
need
police
to get
escorts.
Yes, I'm gonna call Detective Dubois, and I'm gonna call Regina and tell them to meet us at this hospital, and tell them that it was Harold Cesar that made the original phone call, and I'm gonna give them the address that we have scouted out of him. So Damien first. Are there any other intentions? Because I think at this point I would like to pull us into like an epilogue kind of summary for what happens next. Is there any other things that you all want to make note of that you would be taking care of? I'm calling Regina and Damien Dubois. And then I also got that you will be sending
men to check out the address.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we want to include in the epilogue?
Just confirming that the butler was the demon. I guess,
That's
yeah. Just realized.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This
So,
is yeah.
any other stuff before I
Yeah,
run through the epilogue? I want to make sure you all get the questions that are burning answered.
This just be a small thing, but I think when things were settled, Beatrix, in kind of honor of the gardener who seemed to be very much trying to protect, she'd kind of go and she'd kind of like, make the flowers grow a little stronger. She'd just kind of dig her fingers in the dirt and just kind of, almost like not for anybody else, but just like for the gardener and for the forces of nature who obviously he cared about too in his own way. She would feel compelled to do so.
Okay. Um,
The necklace with the demon. I want to try and contact people in my order. Just take
Okay.
care of it.
So the first thing that happens is you all go to the hospital with a police escort. Regina meets you there and is very grateful that you have saved Mallory. Um, the charitable causes that you all uphold, the community center that Dr. Doro has, all will receive generous donations at the end of the tale. The Mergaut estate does have substantial resources, so they do assist all of you with that. Damien Dubois does send a SWAT team actually to go check out the address that you had sent. When they get there, there's a bunch of equipment that makes it clear that an operation had been ongoing there, but it has all been wiped with like DoD level machine wipes. And so they're having a tough time recovering data from it. It's going to take a lot of time. And any people that would have been operating out of there, as well as the two guards, which Idris knew were on the door, are completely gone by the time anyone gets there. It's almost like after what happened with the demon, they knew that someone would be coming from them and they moved out. As you all said about confirming that the butler was the demon, we'll get to the rest of it in the end, but you do very quickly after this, as Mallory is recovering and you all are trying to tie up loose ends, you do discover that the butler is nowhere to be found at the house. He does not come back the next day, and he does not come back the next day. Beatrix, you go to help out with the garden. Would the rest of you attend with her?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and I had one more thing. I definitely want to check on Malia's mind.
Okay. Idris, you also go to the garden?
Yeah, but he is 100% injured. Like he's the movie character in the background with like the sling on the arm. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
100%.
you're like on crutches basically, or moving with a walker, pretty much. But Idris is the one who notices as you go to help out the gardener. Between what you did with the demon and you trying to put a semblance of peace back into his garden, the spirit of the gardener actually is able to move on through what you've done, which is something that everyone will be happy about, and Sebastian can consider to be actual work done in service of his tradition. Um, you all go to check on Malia's mind. You seem kind of worried at first because there is a mental effect that is still on her. Over time, you're able to call on your resources, find people to actually get this cleared. It seems like it was a persistent long-term effect that was used, but you were able to get rid of it once, this Harold no longer had direct access to kind of come find her because he's sort of being watched. I'm sure Damien could have put like a man on the house, making sure that everything was good there. So you are able to ensure that her mind is completely free of any holds before you pack up for the remainder of your case. Sebastian, When you meet with other members of your order, they inspect the necklace. They actually cannot identify really what the origins of it are. So it's something that they would like to keep for further study. It is released to, um, so like within the Thanatos, it's pretty hierarchical. So you would have a master, but your master would have also probably have someone that would have taught them. It's released to your master's master for further study to try to figure out what is going on. And over time, you do get some correspondence from them by letter to try to explain and fill in some of the blanks. Um, in their assessment, they're able to figure out and understand that the butler was just a butler, but was being possessed by this demon. So, unfortunately, the butler and his soul are currently trapped inside of the necklace with this demon. And as of yet, they've been unable to figure out how to pull the two apart to free the butler. But it is taken care of. You learn a little bit of information about it over time, and you believe that it is in safe hands, such that there's no immediate threat of this demon returning to this plane.
Very good. Do we ever figure out what the deal was with the Mergaut family? Like, were they all like witches and wizards? Because there was the supernatural books in the library. Who built the damn house? Why is it so different? Do we ever figure that out?
Since we are ending our tale here, I will confirm that you do learn this, but it would be over a span of years. You've all moved on to other cases. Maybe you've even gone your separate ways and are no longer working together as a team at this point. You just keep in friendly correspondence about the general going ons, and Sebastian will learn some of this information. Your master's master has determined that their belief, it's just a theory, but their belief is that this demon has been harassing the family for an extended period of time and was possessing members of their household staff regularly so that they could never really be found because, you know, who would suspect the butler or the servant who's bringing them meals and food every day? From the outside, it feels obvious, but from the inside, the sort of like feelings of attachment that come from people who are kind of your caretakers in a sense was leading to that being a missed area. And though there were magical leanings within the Mergaut family, not every single one of them was a mage, which tended to be the people who were messed with the most. The spirits themselves are gone over a period of months afterwards. So the only thing that your master's master can determine is that the presence of spirits there actually had to do with the demon. It must have been some kind of spiritual demon of some sort.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Is there a lot of paperwork? Because here's the thing, Beatrix did not do it. Well, she tried, but like there's always like, like 15 tea and coffee rings on there, and she smudged part of it, and she tried really hard, and then she just gives it to Sebastian.
I'll take care of it.
I imagine there's a decent amount of paperwork for everyone except for Idris, who has given a pass on account of him already needing to be paid substantial hazard pay for his injuries.
So we made a bit extra off this case. Bahamas?
And that seems like a good place to end our tale.
Yay!
That was fun.
To the Bahamas we go.
Thank you.
Beatrix said, whatever happened to that ring? That was weird, right? It like just disappeared.
Yes, it just disappeared off of my hand.
Thank you.
I never tell her. I never tell her.
I love it.
Thank you to everyone for joining us for this story, and to all of my players for participating.
That was great.
I loved
Thank
playing
you.
with each of you, and as well to our tech person behind the scenes for helping with all of the transitions. You have been great.
And our
Yay.
mods. Thank you to our
Yeah,
mods.
mods.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Zach.
We love
Yes,
you.
thank you. It was fun and
Bye,
terrifying.
Great. Bye bye.
It was fun.